chain smoke, and I say fuck a lot. But I accept myself for the way I am. I accept you too. Viewer discretion advised.
From cardinal to criminal, George Pell has fallen far. He was born in Ballarat in 1941. His towering physique made an impression at school, where he was a debater and a footballer. After a doctorate at Oxford, he returned to Australia in 1971. He shared accommodation in East Ballarat with fellow priest Gerald Ridsdale. 20 years later, Pell accompanied Ridsdale to court. Ridsdale pleaded guilty to abusing children, but Pell denied any knowledge of his offences.
I didn't know whether it was common knowledge or whether it wasn't. It's a sad story and it wasn't of much interest to me.
I wonder why.
As a young priest, Pell rose quickly through the ranks to be in charge of Catholic schools in Ballarat. After further education and more senior roles, he became a bishop and then Archbishop of Melbourne in 1996. Pell soon gained a national reputation as a staunch defender of the Catholic faith, condemning abortion, the ordination of women and homosexuality.
We're aware that it does exist. We believe that such activity is wrong.
Unless it's with a choir boy.
As Archbishop of Melbourne, George Pell engineered an in-house inquiry and compensation process for victims of sexual abuse, called the Melbourne Response.
It's a matter of regret that the Catholic Church has taken some time to come to grips with this sexual assault issue adequately.
George Pell, tell the truth.
But victims and their families have criticised George Pell for lacking compassion.
In our interactions with the now Cardinal Archbishop Pell, we experienced a sociopathic lack of empathy.
When we went to George Pell, he just crushed us. He just bullied us and spoke over us.
In 2002, George Pell moved north to become Archbishop of Sydney and continued to publicly express sorrow and regret to victims of abuse.
Especially those who've suffered at the hands of fellow Christians, Christian officials, priests, religious teachers.
But just after becoming Sydney's top Catholic, Pell was accused of abusing a boy at a camp in Victoria in 1961 when he was a trainee priest.
I believe completely George Pell's denial.
A retired judge found honesty in both the accuser's account and Pell's denial, but rejected the complaint.
There's no mud to stick, I've been exonerated.
Pell's rise in Rome continued, becoming a cardinal in 2003.
Oh God.
By 2014, he was one of the most powerful men in the Vatican, becoming its treasurer.
I was very confused. I responded poorly.
Via a video link from Rome in 2016, George Pell told the Royal Commission into Institutional Responses to Child Sexual Abuse that he was unaware of the crimes of others as he rose through the church.
Are you telling me they deceived you?
Yes.
It's an extraordinary position, Cardinal.
Council, this was an extraordinary world. A world of crimes and cover-ups.
When abuse allegations against George Pell himself were aired on 7:30 in 2016, Victorian Police confirmed they were investigating.
Today, Victoria Police have charged Cardinal George Pell with historical sexual assault offences.
From Rome, Pell responded quickly.
I'm looking forward, finally, to having my day in court. I'm innocent of these charges. They are false. The whole idea of sexual abuse is abhorrent to me.
George Pell returned to Australia for his day in court, and in December, a jury found him guilty of child sexual offences against two choir boys in Melbourne in 1996.
An Australian court has found Cardinal George Pell, one of the Vatican's highest-ranking officials and a former top advisor
to Pope Francis himself and the Vatican's economy minister. Now, 77-year-old Cardinal George Pell has been found guilty on 5 charges of child sex abuse
committed more than 2 decades ago against 13-year-old boys.
This is yet another major blow for the Catholic Church, which seems unable to shake revelations and allegations about abuse and cover-ups.
The verdict was made public on Tuesday following the lifting of a court suppression order on the trial after a second abuse case against Pell was dropped by the prosecution.
And it also comes just days after Pope Francis convened the first ever Vatican summit on preventing clergy sexual abuse and protecting children from predator priests.
The Cardinal could spend the rest of his life behind bars.
Yeah, that's right. Each of the 5 charges apparently carries a potential sentence of 10 years. So that adds up to 50 years. Of course, he is 77 years old. His sentencing hearing begins tomorrow. But Pell's lawyers have already filed an appeal in the hopes of getting a retrial. And for now, he still retains the title of Cardinal.
George Pell maintains his innocence and is appealing the judgment.
George Pell is still awaiting sentencing, but he was convicted. Fucking stoned. I got